7 tips to help you stop binge eating. I'm just gonna get right into it. My name is Sebastian Bedenker. I'm the creator and owner of the Binge Breakthrough Academy, where we help entrepreneurs and busy professionals just like yourself stop obsessing over food so they can finally take back control of their lives and get in the best shape ever. If that is of interest to you and you want my one-on-one coaching, feel free to book in a free consultation call with me using that first link in the description. But let's get right into it, starting off with tip number 1. I actually have them written down right here in my notes app so I don't forget. Number 1 is identify your triggers. Now you may be asking, Sebastian, what does that even mean? So there are 3 main triggers that I have discovered in my years of researching binge eating that I feel like are the most common. And that is stress, that is restriction, and that is boredom. It is the most important thing for you throughout this binge eating recovery journey to understand why you binge eat. And it could even be a combination of those triggers. So do you find yourself, you get stressed with work, you get stressed with school, maybe you have an argument with someone, or maybe you're just stressed out about bills, whatever the case may be. And then you end up wanting to overeat, overconsume foods, junk food especially. Why? Because those foods are typically very high in sugar, and they're filled with ingredients to make you addicted to them and make you that make you kind of feel good in the moment, right? And so that's what you look for when you're stressed out. Or maybe you're bored. It's a Sunday, you don't have work. Maybe it's a slow day, whatever the case may be, and you find yourself constantly opening the pantry, constantly opening the fridge and getting a Twinkie, getting some Ben & Jerry's, getting a slice of pizza, whatever the case, because you're bored and you don't have anything to do. So what does that tell you? You need to look for healthier, more productive things that you should be doing with your time. Start scheduling your calendar. Start filling up your calendar with those things. That way you don't feel like you're bored and you have to just reach for the donut or reach for the ice cream. And then the last one is restriction, which is actually a really common one. And it's simply, let's say, for example, there's multiple ways you can restrict yourself. But when it comes to binge eaters, it's typically, okay, I had a binge last night. I'm not gonna eat anything all day. I'm gonna reduce my calories dramatically. I'm gonna starve myself all day, and I'm just gonna have a salad for dinner. That is a recipe for disaster, okay? Because you're gonna eat that salad, and since you didn't have anything all day, you're gonna have a crazy amount of cravings, and you're gonna end up binge eating on candy, on donuts, on all these junk foods, on chips, on fast food, whatever the case may be, because you restricted yourself, you starved yourself. So if you find yourself in that restriction cycle, we'll get into this a little later on in the video, but you need to really just not starve yourself. You need to not skip breakfast. You need to understand that food is fuel, and it's only going to help you. It is essential not just for you to live, but for you to actually thrive. So you need to understand that. Now, tip number 2 is you're gonna wanna practice regular meal timing. Do not skip breakfast. And this was kind of like, in my last point, the restriction, don't skip any of your meals. But it is so important for you to be practicing regular meal timing. In fact, for everybody that's in the Binge Breakthrough Academy, I even recommend 4 to 6 smaller sized meals throughout the day. So you'll see most people do, something like maybe 2 meals a day, maybe 3 meals a day, typical breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But the reason I recommend the smaller meals, but more consistent meals, so 4 to 6 smaller sized meals throughout your day, is because 1, it's gonna help you feel full. Number 2, it's gonna help you not have as many cravings. And number 3, it's gonna help you maintain a solid level of energy throughout your day. That way you can be productive, and that way you don't get bored, and that way you're taking up your mind with other tasks instead of thinking about food. So you're gonna wanna make sure that you're eating at least 4 to 6 smaller sized meals. If you don't have time for whatever reason to cook a whole gourmet meal, you don't have to, right? A meal can be something as simple as a quick protein shake, some quick carbs like some rice cakes, and then maybe some fruits. That can count as a meal. I always tell my clients as well, don't overdo it with the protein shakes. You do want to make sure a majority of your food is coming from real clean whole foods, stuff like chicken breast, turkey, steak, beef. You got your healthy carbs in there, like some rice, some sweet potato, regular potato. Then you got your fats, your healthy fats like avocado, maybe some nuts, and then obviously your fruits and veggies. Those are very important as well. But for a majority of the time, you want to really make sure you're eating 4 to 6 smaller sized meals instead of that 1 to 2 to 3 meal approach that most people do, especially if you struggle with binge eating. And for the reasons I listed, that way you feel full, you don't get cravings, and you maintain a consistent level of energy. Now, number 3 tip, use the substitution method. So this is actually something that I created, and basically in simple terms. Whatever you crave, any junk food, any fast food, any snack, any drink has a lower calorie, healthier item for you. So even something like chocolate, like a chocolate bar, a regular chocolate bar has about 1,000 calories. You can actually just get a Gatsby bar, which only has about 200 calories for the entire bar. If you crave something like soda, you can just have diet soda. If you're craving something like, what's another example? Let's say, and another thing that you can do is instead of using like butter or oil to cook your food, you can use 0-calorie spray. That's another form of substitution. So what I'm trying to say is there are always substitutions for your favorite foods, for your favorite drinks. I've made videos about so many of them. If you go on my Instagram, I post recipes all the time and tons of videos, you know, kind of telling you, okay, what substitutions can you do to really help you cure those sweet cravings, those salty cravings. But really, if you just look up, like on Safari or Google, like, hey, I'm craving, let's say, I'm craving donuts. What's a good substitution? It'll give you some pretty damn good substitutions. And so you want to use that to your advantage and understand there are always lower calorie versions and substitutions that you can use for your favorite foods, drinks, and snacks. And that way you cure that craving, but still stick to your health and fitness goals. Now, tip number 4 is do not label foods as good or bad and never ever, restrict them, okay? You want to make sure that you incorporate your favorite snacks, your favorite meals. Otherwise, you're gonna be miserable with your diet. And I always like to give this example, but people say, well, Sebastian, like, isn't broccoli a good food and then a donut is a bad food? But I like to give the example. Broccoli, yes, it's a great food. It has fiber, it keeps you full, it's a veggie, it has so many nutrients in it. It is a great food. But if you fucking hate broccoli and you're miserable eating it, and then it makes you fall off your diet and you end up binge eating every single day for the week because that broccoli made you miserable, then is it really a good food for you? And then vice versa, yes, a donut may be very calorie dense, has a lot of calories, has a lot of sugar. But if you eating 1 donut or 2 donuts a week keeps you sane, it keeps you mentally all there, so you don't go like want to blow your head off because your diet is miserable, then is it really a bad food? Do you understand what I'm saying? So you cannot label foods as good or bad. Now, the rule I recommend for you to follow is the 80-20 rule. So what that means is 80% of the time, you should have clean whole foods, groceries that you shop for, foods that you know are good for you and foods that you can cook at home and that you just know are gonna fill you up. They have protein in them, they have nutrients in them, okay? And then 20% of the time, so maybe 1 to 2 cheat meals a week. I don't even like to call them cheat meals anymore, more like refeeds, but you can include about 1 to 2 of those a week. And that way, again, you can stay sane, you can still incorporate your favorite meals, and you can stay consistent with your diet. That's something that a lot of people don't realize, is that you will burn out so quickly if you try to be 100% perfect, if you're only eating chicken breast, broccoli, rice, and like these super healthy foods. If you don't incorporate your favorite snacks and foods, you're gonna be miserable. So make sure you include those, that way you can stay consistent. Tip number 5 is keep your protein intake high. I always say this, but guys, you have to understand protein is the most important macronutrient if you struggle with overeating, if you struggle with binge eating, because it keeps you full, it keeps you satiated. So I always recommend you aim for 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight. So let's say you weigh 200 pounds, but you want to weigh 150 pounds. I would aim for, at minimum, 150 grams of protein every single day. And it is really not that hard to get that in. Like, I get about 70 grams of protein in just my breakfast. If you're wondering how, I have a protein shake with my coffee to wake me up, get me in the gym. And then I have some, cream of wheat, cream of rice, either one of those. And I put protein powder in there, scoop or 2, and boom, that's 70 grams of protein right there just for my breakfast. And it's like less than 400 calories. So that is gonna keep me full for like 5-6 hours. It's gonna help me push through my workout, and then I'm not gonna be starving all day. So that is what I'd recommend for you. You need to make sure you're incorporating protein in your diet. If you're the type of person that only eats 20 or 30 grams of protein every day, and you're wondering why you overeat, that's the exact reason why you're overeating. It is the best macronutrient to keep you full, to keep you satiated, and also to build muscle and recover muscle. So make sure you make that a priority. Tip number 6. Get more fiber in from veggies, from fruits, and if you have to, you can just use a supplement, but I recommend more from veggies and fruits. When it comes to supplements, guys, like, they're not necessary. You always want to, kind of get your macros and your nutrients from real whole foods. Supplements can be an aid. They can definitely help. That's what they're there for. That's why they're called supplements, to supplement your diet. But try to focus on getting your macros and your nutrients from real whole foods. So fiber is one of the most important things, similar to protein. You can get it from veggies like broccoli and fruits. So make sure you're getting enough, because again, that's gonna help you feel full. It's gonna help you stay satiated. It's also gonna help with digestion, but very, very important for you. That way you don't get a ton of cravings and you end up binge eating. And tip number 7, as simple as it sounds, guys, drink more water. I cannot tell you how many times you're not actually hungry, you're just thirsty. And if you're not staying hydrated, you're gonna have those cravings, you're gonna feel like you're hungry, but you're actually not, you're just thirsty. Our brain kind of confuses the feelings and thinks that thirst is hunger. So I would say aim for about half a gallon of water a day at minimum. If you can bring that up to a gallon, I know that sounds like an absurd amount, but it's only gonna help you for overall health, obviously help you with losing fat, building muscle, absorbing nutrients, making sure you feel good, mentally clear, mentally focused. Guys, water is like our literal life force, right? It's what keeps us alive. So it is very important you make that a priority. And as simple of a tip that it sounds, it is so important. And actually, me as a coach, that's one of my faults. Like, I don't drink enough water, and I really should. But listen, guys, those are the 7 tips that are actually practical steps you can literally start today. Not just like mumbo jumbo, oh, you need to practice, mindset. Like, yes, that stuff is obviously important, but these are actual practical tips that I promise if you put these into action starting today, you will immediately reduce the amount of times you binge eat and reduce all your triggers. And I think this is just gonna be really helpful for you to stop binge eating and actually get the weight off, cut down on that gut, start looking amazing for the summer. So I hope you guys found some value in this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, make sure to leave a comment. I'll respond to any questions. And if you would like my one-on-one coaching, if you want to join the Binge Breakthrough Academy, make sure to click that first link in the description for a free consultation call. I'll see if I can genuinely help you out. And if I truly think I can, we'll get you in the program, help you stop food obsession, and get you in the best shape of your life. Have a great rest of your day.